Good evening. Good evening. How you guys doing out there? It's Mike back with the Soberheadz podcast with my co-host JJ in the building. What's up, good brother? How you doing, man?
Man, I can't call it same day. Another
How
day
did your
sober.
How did your Knicks do last night? Did they win?
1 by 20, man. Come on, stop that.
Oh, all right. I don't be watching, so I don't know.
1 by
That's what I
20,
wanted to
man.
ask you. Did y'all win and stuff, man? So now we on step 6, man. Ready, entirely ready to ask God remove these defects of character, man. This is a good one, man.
Boy,
He
you gotta
say
read that. You gotta read that one more time, bro.
it says step 6, entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character, man.
Not halfway ready, but entirely ready, man.
Entirely ready, brother. You know what I mean? You got to be ready for him to remove them, man.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna start off with the reading. It says entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character. This is the step that separates the men from the boys. So declared a well-loved clergyman who happens to be one of AA's greatest friends. He goes on to explain that any person capable of enough willingness and honesty to try repeatedly step 6 on all his faults without any reservation whatever has indeed come a long way spiritually and is therefore entitled to be called a man sincerely trying to grow in the image of his own creator. Hold on, let me share it on your page. It's deep. Of course, the often disputed question of whether God can and will, under certain conditions, remove defects of character will be answered with a prompt affirmative by almost any AA member. To him, the proposition will be no theory at all. It will be just about the largest fact in his life. He will usually offer his proof in a statement like this: "Sure, I was beaten. Sure, I was beaten, absolutely licked. My own willpower just wouldn't work on alcohol. Change of scene, the best efforts of family, friends, doctors, and clergymen got no place with my alcoholism. I simply couldn't stop drinking, and no human being
Mm.
could seem to do the job for me. But when I came willing to clean house and then asked God, as I understood him, to give me my release, my obsession to drink vanished, and it lifted right out of me." What you got for those
Mm.
3 paragraphs, brother?
Man, that one is deep, man. Uh, like I said earlier, you gotta be entirely ready to have God remove all your defects. The problem with some people is they like their defects. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that could be a problem. You know what I'm saying?
I
So,
did too.
uh, you know what I mean? Like, although you stop drinking, you're like, all right, well, I'm still gonna be this type of person. You know what I mean? Because I got
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
character defect that I feel like I can still hold on because it's not affecting me or affecting other people because I'm not drinking. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my
I think here,
oh, go ahead. My bad,
go
bro.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I
You
said,
got
I
it. Go
think
ahead.
here, I mean, people always, you know, I had a guy today I was talking to, and he said I had 19 months. He said the most
Mm.
I ever did was 22 months. And he said,
Mm.
this time I'm really done. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, I can hear it in your voice, but what is it different? And he was like, yo, I know I can't do it without Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
when he said that, I was like, all right, I can hear it in your voice, but you still got to do the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I
100%.
felt bad because I didn't want to say nothing bad at that time, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if you vaping, you still holding on to the possibility of, alcohol coming back into
What's
your.
in there? Was in the vape? Nicotine?
I don't know what it was, but
Probably was
it's almost
nicotine. If it was, if they had them little carts, them
yeah,
cart things, that be the weed. You know what I mean? If
yeah,
it's
yeah,
nicotine, then that's a lot of them people still smoke cigarettes outside. They still
cigarette.
smoke
Yeah,
nicotine. No, I mean, I ain't smoked in about almost 5 years now. So, but
yeah, yeah.
they be doing all of that. So the vaping, um, the if it didn't
Mhm.
have no marijuana in it, then he could probably be all right. You know what I'm saying? But he's
Yeah.
still got to get to that. You know what I'm saying? Continue to do the work to get to the real reason of why he was drinking in the first place. Like you could
Oh yeah,
stop, but if you
but then
never
I go
get to
back
the
to what
real
we said.
reason, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
What you
I
say? Go
go
ahead.
back to what we just said with the entirely removing your defects. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like I told these kids that I just finished training. Uh, Basketball training is teaching kids habits. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When we was
Mm-hmm.
alcoholics, we had habits. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So if I would smoke a cigarette and then drink a beer, you know what I'm saying, and I'm still smoking cigarettes, in my mind, I'm still waiting for that beer. You know what I mean? Because it was a pattern. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when I asked God to remove alcohol, and if I'm smoking, I would ask him to remove the smoking as well. You know what I mean? Because I put that together. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people who smoke weed like to drink. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, hey man, I'll tell people sometimes marijuana could be the gateway drug to different issues. So
Yeah. Then it says the change is seen the best efforts of family, friends, doctors, clergymen. I remember just being in that basement by myself, bro, like with nowhere else to turn, man. And I still couldn't stop until I was willing to clean house, man. That's when it get real, man. When you got to be willing to clean house. That's what it talk about. Go ahead. You could
so
read the next
so in
page.
a couple episodes you reference the basement. You know what I'm saying? So most people
Yeah.
might not understand when you say the basement what you're talking about. So could you elaborate on that?
Nah, my when I lived in Trenton, I had a basement in a house my ex had gave me like a man cave. But then
Okay.
I started to get trapped in there. Like at first it was cool. I go down there on some days to chill out or whatever. But when I retired, I started to get
Mm-hmm.
trapped there. Like I would go down there in the morning and then I'd just be down there like, you know what I'm saying? And then the depression to kick in. Then I started to look forward to going down there. The next thing you know, you trapped, man. Like that
Oh yeah.
becomes the routine. You don't want to go nowhere. Dude, the only time I used to run and really go places was like this was like at the end and when I was getting the tournaments and stuff like that. But the basement thing had became my thing of what I was doing. I would go down there, I watch drink champs. I'll be drinking, watching drink champs, and then I watch something a web series or something, then I'll listen to some sad music, then I'll be crying and then that's when the alcohol starts to turn on you. And then the
Oh yeah.
depression part kicks in. You know what I'm saying? So that's what used to happen in the basement, man. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
yeah, so you could start reading on 64.
In AA meetings all over the world, statements just like this are heard daily. It is plain for everybody to see that each sober AA member has granted a release from this very abstaining and potential fatal obsession.
Mm,
So, in a very complete and literal way, all AA have become entirely ready to have God remove the manna for alcohol from their lives. And God has proceeded to do exactly that. Having been granted a perfect release from alcoholism, and why then should we be able to achieve by the same means a perfect release from every other difficulty or defects? This is a riddle of our existence, the full answer to which may be only in the mind of God. Nevertheless, at least a part of the answer to it is apparent to us. When men and
mm,
women pour so much alcohol into themselves, they destroy their lives. They commit a most unnatural act. Defying their instincts, desires for self preservation, they seem bent upon self destruction. They
mm,
work against their own deepest instincts as they are as they are humbled by the terrific beating administered by alcohol. The grace of God can enter them and expel their obsessions. Here,
mm,
their powerful instincts to live can cooperatively fill with their Creator's desire to give them a new life. For nature and God alike, a harbor suicide.
Mm.
But most of our difficulties don't fall under such a category at all. Every normal person wants, for example, to eat, to reproduce, to be somebody in society of his fellows, excuse me, to be somebody in the society of his fellows, and he wishes to be reasonable, safe, and secure as he tries to obtain these things. Indeed, God made him that way. He did not design man to destroy himself by alcohol, but he did give man instincts to help him to stay alive.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. That that self destruction was evident, man. Like
Oh yeah.
I was I was uh I was eating bad food, drinking all the time, having the
Mhm.
munchies, like just destroying myself, man. And then it was like, um, and I just kept wanting to do more. I was like slowly killing myself. And I had no idea how deep it was. Like it's crazy, bro. Sometimes, like, the memories pop up on Facebook and I be seeing
Oh yeah.
the I be seeing my pictures like in the memories, and I just look in my eyes, bro, and I be gone. Like I be like I was gone, bro. Like I wasn't in present. I was checked out. You know what I mean? And we only drink for two reasons: pleasure seeking and pain avoidance. And I was trying to
Hmm.
avoid that pain, man. And I was just looking in my eyes. Sometimes it has me like one day I shedded a tear when I really saw how I was. And it was a
Hmm.
tear of like God grabbed me from that. God grabbed me from that destruction, man, and he pulled me out of that. Like that's why I'm so grateful to him. That's why I'm so dedicated because he didn't have to do that, bro. I seen
Oh yeah.
people from where I'm from that grew up with that died from this very disease, man. So like
I mean,
it's
we
it's
have
a
some
it's a
close friends that died from.
mm-hmm
You know what I'm saying? Like,
mm-hmm
you know, and,
yeah
and I don't know about you, but sometimes I question myself and be like, oh man, like that could have been me. You know what I'm saying?
yeah
Like,
100%
you know,
100%
and I
100%.
I just thank God that I was able to, become sober and stay sober at the time that I did. You know what I mean? Because so many of our friends around us, they were kicking a bucket, man. And then it's like
Mm-hmm
every time you
mm-hmm
go to a funeral, how we celebrate, how we deal with death. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm
With drinking. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm
So I think I saw where does it say? Uh, it says the last one. He did not design man to destroy himself by alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Like,
mm-hmm mm-hmm
but that's what we were doing. You know what I mean? Like, think about all the decisions and the bad decisions we made when we was under the influence of alcohol. You know what I
100%.
mean?
100%.
You know.
But I was
I,
talking to them
go ahead.
brothers the other night in that
Mm-hmm.
spot in Newark, and we was just talking about how regular it was, how the alcoholism was so regular with our friends. Like
Yeah.
drinking the fifth wasn't nothing together. Nah, you're
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to be doing that.
No.
You're not you know what I'm
No,
saying? You're not supposed
you're
to
not
be
supposed to drink the fifth and then drink another fifth. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
you're not supposed to be doing that, man. Like I remember, man, me and two of my peoples, man, we had 1738. I think that's what it's called. The cognac joint. Man, we
mm-hmm.
drunk. It was fifths, man. It was three of us, man. We drunk three of them joints and a case of Coronas, man. Like, that's not you ain't supposed to do that.
No,
You
that
know what
ain't.
I'm saying? But in our mind, it was just like that we said that's getting it in. No, it ain't. You're killing
Yeah.
yourself. You know what I'm saying? So
But, but look at the reverse psychology. Like the last sentence says, he uh he did give man instincts to help him stay alive.
mm-hmm,
Look
mm-hmm.
how sick this was, man. You
Yeah.
drinking to to drown your sorrows almost to the point where you almost killing yourself, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you're not going to be able to live if you don't have a drink.
Mm-hmm. But
Now that's
think about when they said that we went so far, the only way out for us was to find God. Like we ain't have
yeah.
no other way out. It wasn't no I could just Stop, man. It says, as they humbled by the terrific beating alcohol administered by alcohol, the grace of God can enter, excuse me, can enter them and expel their obsession.
Oh yeah.
It was so broken that he had to come get us, bro. We was on our road to destruction, man.
But
This
we
with
had
his
to hit
drink.
our rock. We had to hit our
Yeah,
rock bottom. Like you always talk about rock bottom, like,
yeah.
and I really didn't understand rock bottom until a couple conversations with you. You know what I mean? Like what I perceived as rock bottom really wasn't rock bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like rock bottom is you hitting, ain't no bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I kept hitting rock bottom, and you know, I would get right back up. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't rock bottom, man. Rock bottom is being in that rehab center with them walls closed in, sitting in the dark, going through them DTs, going through the shake. You know what I'm saying? Like that's rock bottom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 100%.
You know, doing those 30 days and then just going to the meetings, still trying to think how you gonna make it to the next day without drinking. You know what I'm saying? Like that's rock bottom. You know what I mean? You know,
Talking about it, bro.
Is to the point where you let go and you just let God. You know what I mean? Like I said, talking to this fellow today with the 19 months, you know, he talked more about his relationship with Jesus than anything. You know what I'm saying? He said he tried to get sober without God, and it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? So he was real convincing this time because, like I said, he was talking about giving it to the Most High. So
indeed, it's about to get real deep now. It says, it is nowhere evident, at least in this life, that our Creator expects us fully to eliminate our instinctual drives. So far as we know, it is nowhere on the record that God has completely removed any human being of his natural drives. Most of us are born with the abundance of natural desires. It isn't strange that we often let these far exceed their intended purpose. When they drive us blindly and we fully demand that they supply us with more satisfaction or pleasures than are possible or due us, that is the point where we depart from the degree of perfection that God wishes for us here on earth. This is the measure of our character defects, or if you wish, of our sins. Ooh, man, I know it's another paragraph, but this one right here, bro. Wow. So you telling me once you far exceed those desires for sex, that fornication go crazy, or that adultery go crazy because the wife he gave you ain't enough. Once you far exceed that need for food, that gluttony, you having over 3 meals a day ain't enough. Now I gotta have more. Once you far exceed that the money he bless you with, now you're going out doing all of this stuff, trying to make more money. You ain't spending no time with your family. You're not building no foundation. You're not teaching your family nothing about God because you're chasing that bread. And then that's what leads us into the sin. Oh, yeah. It's like he gave us the blueprint. This what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you enough to serve me. And whatever I bless you with, I want you to use that to serve me. But then I was so gone that I looked at it like, I'm just about to ball. I'm just about to ball and do this and do this and do this. And then you lead to your, you leading all the way to your destruction. And that's why Solomon said it's all vanity.
Yeah. But that's still vanity. I mean, those character defects, you know what I mean? Like, you know, some of the defects saying they got to do with fear, they got to deal with resentment, you know what I mean? Dishonesty, you know what I mean? Selfishness, you know what I'm saying? The impatient part of, you know, hey, I got to make sure this happens, and it got to happen when I want it to happen. You know what I'm saying? Then it goes back to the main defects that we even struggle with today, being sober, and that's control. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, imagine being a person who always has to have control over a situation, and then you become sober, and you still have to have control over the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because we still have to have control as we navigate through this world sober every day. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
That's one of the
I've been
defects that we.
practicing. Yeah, I've been practicing acceptance a lot more now. Like really
Mhm.
like falling back and just letting God do his job. Because a lot of times I was butting in trying to do this job for him when I should have just let
Well,
him rock out.
well, go back to that pride again, right? And it's no, I'm serious. It's good pride
Uh-huh.
because, like I tell people, like when I talk about you, man, and I talk about the man you are today versus, Mike Melton basketball spotlight. I always ask people, like, yo, you can't say nothing bad to me about Mike when it comes to religion. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's when the whole conversation changed. Yo, what's wrong with your boy, man? He go all hard for the Lord and blah. I said, well, what's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I said, when we was going hard for doing the wrong thing, everybody was with us. So now we going hard
Yeah.
for doing the right thing. Now we crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
So
100%. But that paragraph is deep. Once we go, we depart from our degree perfection that God wishes for us on this earth. This is the measure of our character defects or our sins. It says, if we ask, God will certainly forgive our derelictions, but he no case does he render us white as snow and keep us way without our cooperation. This is something we are supposed to be willing to work towards ourselves. He asks only that we try as best as we know how to make progress in building character. So step 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. In AA's way of stating the best possible attitude one can take in order to make a beginning of this lifetime job. This does not mean that we expect all our character defects to be lifted out of us as we drive, as the drive to drink was, and a few of them may be, but most of them we shall have to content with patient improvement. These key words, entirely ready, underline the fact that we want it to aim at the very best as we know and can learn. And that's right, man, because I definitely still had some defects of character when I
oh
was
yeah,
doing my thing. Like I said, the control thing, the wanting to be right, this and this. I just kept working and I kept praying and I finally started to get better at it and better at it and better at it, man. You know what I mean? But at least we understand what it is. You know what I
yeah.
mean? We worked, man, my sponsee worked on his step 6 last night and we wrote down his character defects. You know what I mean? For him, we went back to that step 4 and got him off
Mhm.
that list. And then we wrote him down and started to go at it a little bit so he could have a target on what he needed to work on and what he needed to try to change. You know what I'm saying? What you got on this part?
I mean, it go back to going to an AA meeting and saying John alcoholic. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so as much as I am sober, I still hold on to those character defects of being an alcoholic. You know what I mean? Like, I just deal with them differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm
Mm,
still impatient. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
I'm still could be selfish sometimes because us doing this is selfish to some people that were in our circle. You know what I mean? Because they're like,
mm-hmm.
yo, why they not talking about basketball? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that could be something that's selfish towards, people that care about you per se. You know what I mean? And then
Mm,
when we talk about the sins and the resentments, like I tell this to my wife all the time. I said, I'm big on amends. You know what I'm saying? Right,
mm-hmm.
wrong, or indifferent. In order for me to stay sober, I have to forgive people of my sins and I have to forgive them of their sins as well. You know what I mean? So,
Mm.
that's the hard part. You know what I'm saying? Like me and you talk
Yeah.
about this a lot. You always say like one of the hardest things I had to do was forgive a brother who did me this way or forgive a sister
Yeah.
who did me
Yeah.
that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, when you make amends, you make amends. Before you make amends, you should pray. You know what I'm saying? And then once you pray and make the amends, that everything else is up to God. I'm not apologizing to the person 72 times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. 100%.
That's what I got for
100%.
that.
100%. Okay. How many of us have this degree of readiness? In absolute sense, practically nobody has. The
Mm,
best we can do with all the honesty that we can summon is to try to have it. Even then, the best of us will discover that our dismay that there is always a sticking point, a point at which we say, no, I can't give that up yet. And we
Mm,
shall often tread even more dangerous ground when we cry, this will I never give up. Such is the
yeah.
power of our instincts to overreach themselves. No matter how far we have progressed, desires will always be found which oppose the grace of God. You want
Mm.
to touch on it?
I mean, no, I can't give this up yet. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Mm.
even when we were sober, like I don't know about you, but I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna drink, but I'm gonna have a pineapple and cranberry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
was still wanting to be accepted in the social crowd when I was out dealing with sobriety, but not trying to drink alcohol, but still looking for the acceptance of not wanting to give that being a man feeling up when I went out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That
You know,
part.
so then it was like,
That part.
how do you navigate that world? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's what I
And
didn't
then
want to give up with. Go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
like, and then it said, uh, no matter how far we have progressed, desire will always be found, which opposes the grace of God. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
like, that's one of the things I struggle with, even to this day. You know what I mean? Like, if we say we're trying to be more like Christ, we want to do the things that he did, like the forgiveness, the fasting, the praying, all that, some days are difficult than more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm. Mm.
and I thank God for where he's brought me from, and I thank him for his grace and his mercy. But I mean, at the end of the day, some days you just like throw your hands up and you're like, oh man, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm.
I learned that no matter what, if I see God, then he'll definitely protect me. So
One of the character defects I had to give up was idolizing my. One of the character defects I had to give up was idolizing myself, like walking away from who I was. When I
yeah.
got sober at first, I didn't want to do it. Once I had to make that decision about working on a Sabbath, I didn't want to walk away, bro. Like it was like I was trying to hold on because I had built this identity of who I thought I was for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, who I'm gonna be? You know what I mean? And then the Most High said, you mine now. That's over with.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an easy thing where I just was like, that's it. I'm out. You know what I mean? No, I had to build up. Then I just kept hearing lessons that talked about obeying the Sabbath. And then after a while, I just was like, there's too many signs. I gotta go, man. You know what I mean? That's when I knew it was
Mm-hmm.
time. Like it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? Because he kept he kept telling me. You know what I mean? It says
Oh yeah.
some who feel they have done well may dispute this. So let's try to think it through a little further. Practically everybody wishes to
You,
be
you,
rid of the most glaring and destructive handicaps. No one wants to be so proud that he is scorned as a bragger, or so greedy that he is labeled a thief. No one wants to be angry enough to murder, lustful enough to rape, gluttonous enough to ruin his health. No one wants to be agonized by the chronic pain of envy or too paralyzed by sloth. Of course, most human beings don't suffer these defects at these rock bottom levels. We who have escaped these extremes are apt to for gratitude. I mean, act to congratulate ourselves. Yet, can we? After all, hasn't it been self-interest, plain and pure and simple, that has enabled us to escape? Not much spiritual effort is involved in avoiding the accesses which will bring us punishment anyway. But when we face up to the less violent aspects of these very character defects, then where do we stand? Wow. Talked about the life that we walked away from, man. Just think about all of that damage we
oh
was
yeah.
doing to ourselves, the destructive, most glaring and destructive handicaps. Bragging, greedy, gluttony, lustful. Oh
Mm-hmm.
man, it's crazy, bro. Just thinking about that now, what he
I used to
saved us
walk
from,
around talking
bro.
about it. Oh yeah.
Hmm?
I used to walk around and tell people, you want to know who I am? Google me.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like some of the
yeah. It
stuff I
was
used to say to people, man, like,
yeah.
I look at it now be like, yo, you talk about, stroking your own ego. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like I said, that old saying, when you're on top, you got to see the same people on the way down.
Mm-hmm.
That was reality for me. You know what I'm saying? Like all those
Mm.
people that I thought I was jumping over, I had to come back down to see them on the way down, man.
Yo, I saw what's the name? A video of what's the name today, man. It was sad, bro. Broner. But I remembered that I used to talk like that, man. Oh
Yeah.
man, it was sad, bro. It was sad, man. It was sad,
I
man.
mean, the scary part is we was under those demonic spirits, so we could talk like anybody at that given time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
hundred
now that you
percent.
got the spirit of the Holy Ghost, it goes back to, what they said, like, hey man, you on fire. You was on fire for doing what you did. And you was the best at what you did when it came to doing these tournaments. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now you on fire for getting people into the kingdom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
People
yeah.
didn't
Let them know.
understand. People didn't understand when you started Basketball Spotlight. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying? Like,
yep,
think about
yep.
you went from like 8 teams in each age group to
Yeah,
40 teams in each age group. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
It
And
was good. It
let's
was
be
good,
real.
man.
You couldn't give everybody all of you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yo, you could not write up an article on every kid that came through Basketball Spotlight, right?
Mm-mm.
But every kid wanted to play in the Basketball Spotlight tournament. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%,
Whether they got
100%,
a write up or not. So
100%, 100%. Says what we must recognize now is that we exalt in some of our defects. We really love them. Who, for example, doesn't like to feel just a little superior to their next fellow, or even quite superior? Isn't it true that we like to let greed masquerade as ambition? To think of liking lust seems impossible. But how many men and women speak love with their lips and believe what they say so that they can hide in the lust in the dark corner of their minds? Whoa.
mm,
And even while staying in conventional bonds, many people have to admit that their imaginary sex excursions are apt to be all dressed up as dreams of romance. Woo! 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 I remember living like that,
mm,
bro. yo, yo, they hit me in the chin on that one, bro. I remember living like
yeah,
that, bro. Dag, dag. It's
oh yeah.
sad.
I mean, how
Hold
they
on, I
used
gotta
to say,
read
you used
that
to say
joint.
anything to get anything.
He said, "Ooh." Isn't it true that we like to let greed masquerade as ambition? I'm ambitious. Like, oh
Oh
my
yeah.
God. To think of liking lust seems impossible.
I'm
But
ambitious. I can see you now. I got 48. I got 48 teams in this age group, but I'm gonna take 8 more. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. Talking about I
It's
got that
crazy, bro.
drive. I'm chasing the bag. That's what the world tell us. We chasing the bag. We
Yeah.
chasing the bag. And we say it's ambition, but I could never get
Mm-hmm.
enough. They said imaginary sex excursions are apt to be all dressed up as romance.
Oh yeah. That part right there is deep.
But in the back of the mind, you thinking about when y'all get back to the house tonight.
Yeah.
But you're gonna show a whole
But
romantic day, but the ultimate goal is for what comes later on. Jeez.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then you're not gonna be
Yeah.
satisfied with that because you're gonna get that and then you're gonna go somewhere else.
Swoosh. Yeah. You hit it on the head.
So
Yeah.
self righteousness, man.
Go ahead. Keep go ahead. Go ahead. You can
Self
pick up from there.
righteousness anger also can be very enjoyable in a
Mm. In a perverse.
in a perverse way. We can actually take satisfaction from the fact that many people annoy us. Wow. For it brings a comfortable feeling of superiority. Gossip,
mm.
buried with our anger, a polite form of murder by character assassination, has its satisfaction for us too. Here
Mm.
we are not trying to help those we criticize, we are trying to proclaim our own righteousness.
Mm.
Wow. When gluttony
Mm.
is less than ruinous, we have a milder word for that too. We call it taking our comfort. We live in a
Mm.
world riddled with envy. To a greater or lesser degree, everybody is infected with it. From this defect, we must surely get a warp, yet definite satisfaction. Else, why would we consume such great amounts of time wishing for what we have not, rather than working for it, or
Mm.
angrily looking for attributes we shall never have instead of adjusting to the facts and accepting it? And
Mm.
how often we work hard with no better motive than to secure and slothfully later on only we call that retiring. Wow. Consider too consider too our talents for procrastination, which is the real sloth in 5 syllables. Nearly anyone could submit a good list of such defects as these, and a few of us would seriously think of giving up, at least until they cause us exclusive misery. Some people, of course, may conclude that they are indeed ready to have all such defects taken from them. But even these people, if they are constructed, excuse me, if they construct a list of still mild defects, will be obliged to admit that they prefer to hang on to some of them. Therefore, it seems plain that a few of us can quickly or easily become ready to aim at spiritually or moral perfections. We want to settle for only as much perfection as we will get us by in life, according, of course, to our various and sundry ideas of what will get us by. So the difference between the boys and the men is the difference between striving for self-determination, objectives, and for the perfect objective, which is of God. Mm,
Bro, I remember when I first got sober and then came into that truth and I left basketball
mm-hmm,
spotlight, I was scared to get in a situation to really start having a lot of money coming in at one time. Cause I was
mm-hmm.
so scared to get that bug again. I was so scared to
Yeah.
get drawn back in again. And I was praying to God to give me like enough time for me to be able to um develop in this new life before I had went out, before he blessed me with that kind of stuff so I'd be able to handle
Mm-hmm.
it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Cause I was scared of that, bro. Like I ain't want to go back. You know what I'm saying? So, and the self-righteous, when I first became an Israelite, I was going crazy with it. Oh my God. When I knew that I was an Israelite, I was going crazy with it, man. And hearing and hearing the gossip and all of that, man, they hitting on so many things on here, bro.
Oh yeah.
Hitting on so
I mean,
many
that
things,
gossip, if
man.
you listen to it, the gossip is something that can push you back into, losing your sobriety if you pay attention to it. You know what I'm saying? If
Mm,
you don't stay prayed up or if you don't listen, you know what I mean? Like,
mm,
as much as I like to go on to these Bible apps and press play and listen to, them read the word, it ain't
mm-hmm,
nothing like getting that physical Bible and picking it up because it's going to give you what you need at that time. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And, for me, that's something that, really helped me. You know what I'm saying? And
mm-hmm,
then, like you said, once you become saved, the hardest part is not your journey, but the people that are around you that are still trying to pull you back to basketball spotlight. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
sacrifice
yeah,
that you made from walking away from basketball spotlight, that was a huge commitment. You know what I mean? And selfishly, it hurt other people more than it hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a lot of programs that made their name off of basketball spotlight. You know what I mean?
yeah, but they all right
They
though. They
came to the
had like
spotlight joint.
other joints came out where they was able to jump into. The hardest part was for me was the people that worked for me. Like everybody was like my family. So
Yeah.
having to walk away from that and seeing them all the
Oh yeah.
time, that was hard. But this part right here is
Mm-hmm.
deep, man, when it says how often we work hard with no better motive than to secure and slothful later on. Only we call that retiring. Like
Yeah.
basically like God. I remember allergies still messing with me, got me coughing. I remember listening to Eshawn Burgundy, and he said a verse one time. He was like, "Y'all too corporate. How can a preacher retire?" Basically, like
Yeah.
you supposed to be carrying God's word to you in the ground. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna go sit up and you gonna cake up all this money, then you gonna go sit up somewhere and just not carry his message, like not go out and work. Like it's deep when you really think about it, man. How the
Oh, yeah.
capitalist society got us set up like that. You know what I'm saying? And then you
Right.
lose that fire and you feel like you made it, and he looking at you like you ain't. That's not making it. You got a job to do for
Oh, yeah.
me. Like go out there and do my job. That part is the part, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That joint is deep right
When
there.
you're doing God's will, man, it's tough. I remember when the first time
Yeah.
when we came to Atlanta, I mean, we was struggling. We was living
Mm-hmm.
paycheck to paycheck. And, on Sundays, we going down to, we leaving our house in, Ackworth and going down to Atlanta, and we feeding the homeless. And I'm sitting there like, hey, man, we one paycheck away from being homeless ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
And
mm.
just to do God's will and say, you know what, I'm not worried about this. Like, there's times when I literally gave somebody the last $10 I had in my pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. That's
Because
deep,
the Holy
bro.
Spirit said, give it to him. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
deep, bro.
Then there's sometimes when I tell the Holy Spirit, like, hey, man, you bugging,
But
you
now
know?
you about.
But
That's why he
when you
gonna
do
bless you
God's
with.
will, man, the blessing is.
That's why he gonna bless you with this school situation. Watch what happens, bro. Many will ask at once. Many will ask once ask, how can we accept the entire implication of step 6? Why? This is perfection. This sounds like a hard question, but practically speaking, it isn't. Only step 1, where we made the 100% omission, we were powerless over alcohol, can be practiced with absolute perfection. The remaining the remaining 11 steps state perfect ideas. There are goals towards which we look and the measuring sticks by which we estimate our progress. Seen in the light, step 6 is still difficult, but not at all impossible. The only urgent thing is that we make a beginning and keep trying. If we can gain any real advantage in the use of this step on problems other than alcohol, we shall need to make a brand new venture into open mindedness. We shall need to raise our eyes towards perfection and be ready to walk in that direction. It is seldom matter that haughtily we walk. The question is, are you ready? Looking again at those defects, we are still unwilling to give up. We ought to erase the hard and fast lines that we have drawn. Perhaps we shall be obliged in some cases to say, this I cannot give it up. But we should not say to ourselves, this I will never give up. Let's dispose what appears to be hazardous open end we have left. It is suggested that we ought to become entirely willing to aim towards perfection. We note that some delay, however, might be pardoned. That word in the mind of rationalized alcoholics could certainly be given a long-term meaning. Meaning, it could say, how very easy. Sure, I head towards perfection, but I'm certainly not going to hurry any. Maybe I can postpone dealing with some of my problems indefinitely. Of course, this won't do. Such a baffling of oneself will have to go the way of many another pleasant rationalization. As the very least, we shall have to come to grips with some of our worst character defects and take action towards their removal. The moment we say, no, never, our minds close against the grace of God, delay is dangerous and rebellion may be fatal. Ooh. This is the exact point where we abandon limited objectives and move towards God's will for us. Man, I had to just give it all up. I had to just throw it all away, bro. It was just too much, man. Like, and I thank him that he broke me enough where I was willing to do it. Certain stuff, like I'm getting better every day with certain things, though, man. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I got to get better at. I still got to get better with certain things, man. So you got anything in closing?
Oh yeah, I wrote a couple things down, and it's like I'm having a conversation with myself in the mirror, right? So I wrote
Mm-hmm.
down. So the question is, do I want to be sober, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you start and you say no, never, then I'm closing off my mind to the possibility of me being sober, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then another question in the paragraph said, "Are you ready?" Right? And if you're ready, you gotta have you gotta be willing to have a beginning and to keep trying. That's another thing it said. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And then it said, "This I cannot give up." You know what I mean? Sometimes we speak our sobriety or falling off the wagon into an existence. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I talked about that last time when we were talking, just being mindful of how we talk. You know what I mean? If we don't stay prayed up and focused and we sit here talking
Yeah.
about, what we used to do and how we used to do
Yeah.
it, you either gonna get gratification from it or you're gonna
Mm.
get the satisfaction of knowing that this is what you used to do, and by God's
Mm-hmm.
grace, I've been saved. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then the last thing I wrote down, it says, this I will never give up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Mm.
So this I never give up was the alcohol at one point, right? Now I say this is why I'll never give up, and that's my sobriety. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I always tell people like this, in my house, it goes God, my sobriety, then my wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
I don't know how somebody else may live, but that's me. You know what I mean? Selfishly, I had to, I did a 365-day praying and fasting, away from my wife. You know what I mean? Where like to the
Yeah.
point where she was like everything all right, and I was like, I'm just doing what God told me to do. You know what I mean? Like to
Mm.
the point
Mm.
where like she was like, "Am I doing something wrong?" I'm like, "Nah, you're not doing nothing wrong." And I had to trust God that my marriage would stay strong, and it
Mm.
did. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey.
because when you're not being intimate or communicating, or you doing your assignment that God gave you, I think about all the people in the Bible who he gave assignments to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm. Mm.
hey, go up on that mountain and put that knife to your child's throat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so my assignment was like, hey man, cut off everybody. You know what I'm saying? And the people that's supposed to be in your life when you finish gonna be in your life. And
Mm.
now
That's deep.
I can say like this, I could put two hands up and say, put one down. And that's how many people I got in my life right now through the devotions and salvation of God just removing people out of my life. You know what I'm saying? So not
Mm.
only did he remove my character defects, he was removing the people that was enabling my character defects. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. Mm.
So like I never forget, like you coming back into my life was something that I needed at that time because I just thought my sobriety was all about me and I didn't need to go to meetings. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
then when you was like, yo, man, what you doing? You need to go to meetings. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here like, wow. 4 years later now, I'm about to start an internship to be a substance abuse counselor. You know what I'm saying?
All
Like,
praises to the Most High,
yeah,
man.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and who
All
would have
praises
thought
to the
that?
Most
You know
High,
what I mean?
brother.
Like,
All praises to
I'm
the
not
Most High.
being a basketball coach or being a school teacher. I'm like, yo, man, God is using me to tell people, like, look, you can be at that rock bottom. I can bring you out. But the only way that you remain on the level that you are is that you got to stay prayed up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then you got to go back to step one. You know what I mean? Like, people say step one, but some people don't do it, man. You know what I mean? Like, if you think you can do this by yourself without giving it to a higher power, then you just kidding yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
Facts. It's
me and my
hard.
wife was in the car the other day, and I said, babe, I said, Mike be going hard, right? And I said, one of the things in the beginning that I think people were afraid of is that we talk about the religious side of recovery.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because we know the importance of it. But I said, how do you push that on somebody that doesn't believe in God? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I'm like, they could do it, but if you
You
don't give
gotta
it to if you don't give it to a higher power, man, I just don't believe in you. I
you
don't
gotta be
believe without
more.
God, I would not be sober, man.
Yeah. But that's what the
You know what I'm
book
saying?
tell
That's
us.
just me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what the book tell us though, that That's what happened to Bill. He couldn't get sober till he found God. You know what I mean? Like, that's the bottom line of it. People try to dress it up and call it what they call it, but you ain't going to, and if you ain't drinking, you're still not going to be happy inside until you lock in with God. You could be a dry drunk and be angry all the time. You know what I'm saying? But so, you know what I mean? So next week, step 7, we halfway there, bro. Halfway there, bro.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
So we're gonna get my boy Al back on, man.
He be working and stuff, but on I'm gonna hit you up because we be doing the joint on Friday nights. Bible study type.
What happened to the little group you was putting together?
Yeah, that's what we starting out. It's a Bible study right now. Then we transform it. You know what I mean? Like, we transforming it right now. So I'm gonna pray out.
All right,
we'll go from there. All right.
Okay.
Abba, thank you for allowing us to come on tonight, Father. Please, if it's your will, have this message touch somebody out there, Father. And if they need any help, let them have the courage and strength to contact either one of us, Father, so we could point them to the help that they need. So in the hopes that they'll become vessels for you. All these blessings we ask in your Son, Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen, man.
All right, thank you, brother.
All right, bro.
All right.
Nah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure.
No doubt, bro.